It's okay. Okay. Oh, perfect. I was going to say I can start just a little like telling you my background and stuff while we're waiting on that to pull up. Um, I've been staging for about 13 years now. And my previous career, like say that I retired from for about 15 to 18 years, I did tile and stone sales all around town from Dow Tile, Travis Tile, Tile Works of Texas. And then I ended at materials marketing, which was kind of the mecca of tile places at that time. And so I worked with architects in my first position, and then I went to designers, and then I went to builders, and then I went to custom home builders. And then I went kind of like I covered all of it at materials marketing. I worked on the Parade of Homes, the Symphony of Homes. I got to do a lot for like Lance Armstrong's house.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was kind of like in a dream career at that point, getting to help people, which I say at that point in time, they were probably like $1 to $4 million houses. Now they're probably $7 to $14 million houses for those same neighborhoods. So I feel like I just kind of sucked up by osmosis, like all this design information and just learning how to space plan and color coordinate and do all those kind of things. And then the housing bust hit and everything started taking so long to build a house. I would work for almost 3 years with some clients, and you only get paid when they finally order their flooring, right?
Yeah.
So I just kind of got burnt out, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom for a little while. And then I did that for several years. And then, of course, you get the itch like, I want to do something again. I just don't want to work for someone. What do I want to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll be a home stager. I literally said it out loud with all my friends by the pool one day. And within 24 hours, I had an email from one of my husband's clients' wives that was a home stager. I don't know if you used to watch the Sunday morning, like real estate show where they had Casey Rhodes on there. I went to work for her for a couple years. I was like, yes, I do want to do that. I actually said it out loud yesterday. So let's do it. So for a couple years, I did nothing but consultations. Just, went in, told them what to do, how to do it, sent them a report, kind of got my feet wet that way. And then I met Holly Hogue, who lived down the street from me, and staged for her pretty exclusively for several years and kind of moved up through starting to have some inventory, starting to buy things of my own. And we kind of grew and grew and grew. And then I was like, well, why don't I make this more of a full-time gig? I think I could do this for more people. And so I just kind of started, getting my feet wet and putting my name out there. And I still don't have a website. I work 100% by referral only. I just have been very blessed to fall into the laps of the right people that I want to work with. I want to be part of the team. I feel like I'm very sales dominated. I think because of the world I came from, that I feel like that translates into how I want to be a teammate as a stager. So yeah, so that was kind of how I got my start. And then, so as I will say, consultations were the first things I did. And I think that is kind of a no-brainer. I think every agent should do that for every single property they list. In 13 years, I've walked into 2 houses where I've walked in and gone, you're basically an interior designer and you don't need me here. Just take down your personal pictures. Your house is perfect. That's happened twice. Everybody else needs some sort of guidance, whether it is just a little guidance of moving some things around to make the space planning look better so that the photography angles are good. Just the ins and outs of what to remove and how to do it. If you need to paint, I always say, you guys, want a lifelong client. You want their neighbors to list with you and their kids to list with you. And when they sell again, you want them to list with you again. Sometimes they're only going to see me once. So I get to be the good, bad cop. I'm the one that can come in and tell them, it kind of smells like a dog in here. You need to do something about that. Your carpet looks a little ick. We need to work on that. Just one last week with Lori, I kind of walked in and I was like, okay, I think we can live with this paint. And then we got deeper and deeper. And I was like, wait, now every room has a different color. I was like, I hate to be the one to tell you, but I think you're going to need to paint. Yeah.
Too many colors to tell you to paint.
Too many colors. Yes. And so sometimes it's easier to kind of pawn that off onto the stager as well. So a lot of my agents will tell me beforehand, like, these are the things I want you to hit, that I don't want to have to be the one to say. But if you could mention that, they have to stop cooking Thai food a week before, we're going to list, or, there's just those little things. So I do a very detailed, like, hour to 2 hour walkthrough with them. We go through every room inside the house, outside the house. And then I send a very detailed report per room telling them what they need to do to get it ready for photos. I'm also very available for your clients. I tell them to text me, call me, email me pictures and videos of the process as they go. If they're not sure, was I supposed to move it here? Should I still do more? Now we have a hole here. And so I can kind of walk them through, and they can use me as little or as less as they want. Again, I just want to be part of the team. So yeah, you can scoot on, and then I will show you, kind of what is your first impression of this house. This was a beautiful, like 1.5 million kind of downtown Austin area. Really pretty house, had great architectural features, but you walked in and you were kind of like, I don't know where my eye's supposed to go, right? Like there's bold art on 2 of the walls, which is taking away from the fireplace, and so your first impression was yes, all kinds of stuff. And so if you keep going, we only have a few seconds to make that first impression, because we make up our minds pretty fast. As you know, we all scroll online and make our choices very quickly these days.
What is going to make
what makes me remember?
Scrolling?
Yes, what's going to make me stop scrolling? What's going to wow me? That like, oh, that looks really clean, and look at the fireplace, look at the lines, look at the windows, instead of the stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then if you scroll again, this was post consultation, and I never went back to this house again. This is what she did from my notes. So you can see the major switch. And like the piece under the TV was like cramped in a hallway, and it was a beautiful piece, way prettier than the one they had there. That was like an IKEA, like you can see through it and see all their clutter they had behind the door. So I was like, why don't we move this one over there? And then you can keep whatever you need to keep hidden. And let's get one piece of art to focus so that it draws our eyes to the fireplace instead of all over the room. So yeah, I was really proud. It's always nice to go back and watch, and I do follow my listings so that I get a notification to see if they did their homework. And 99.9% of the time, I'm always very impressed with how they have followed directions. Even if they fight me along the way, sometimes they're like, I'm not going to do any of that. And I'm like, okay, I'm just telling you as the professional what you need to do to get the highest price for your house. But if you are good with this price, then don't do those things.
Yeah.
It is totally your call. You have to live in it. You're the one that's going to make the investment. You're the one that's going to make the profit. So, I'm like, I just tell you the A++ list of what I think you should do to make it appeal to the masses. And you can decide from there which items you want to, go for or not.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then we scroll on. So we're going to go through the top 5 reasons that I believe agents and sellers should stay at their house. Obviously, number 1, it makes a great first impression. So important for your MLS to pop and to stand out. So we want to, put our best foot forward. You only get one shot at it. All right. So here was another kind of before and after. This was a house in Lakeway. Gorgeous custom home. The lady had lived there forever. They built the house. And then I talked him into painting and removing all the things. And then you could, really have some appreciation for the beautiful travertine hood they had and the beautiful travertine floors. But before, your eye was all over the place with collections and dark paint and things like that. So just again, another of how it turns out when you use a stager. Obviously, it's going to speed up the sale of your home. My little stats here. I want to say it was 94%.
94%.
Yes. 96% of realtors believe that staging has a positive influence on a buyer's decision. 49% of home sellers agents saw reduced time on the market for staging their homes. It absolutely speeds up the process. So I always try to tell people when they're negotiating that, staging costs a lot, but you think about it, but what if I sell 30 days faster than if I didn't stage?
Yeah.
There's my property taxes, my insurance, my utilities, my mortgage payment.
Well,
what is that monthly cost to stay on the market?
Yeah. Additionally, the longer a home is on the market, the lower that original offer is going to come in.
Absolutely.
If I can get an offer in the first 30 days, it's going to look better than the offer I get in the first 30 to 60 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. And then once it's at 60 or 90, then you're like, oh, what's wrong with it? Does it have a bad AC? Does it have foundation problems? Sometimes they don't even come give you a look because they're just thinking it obviously wasn't something that flew off the market. So it wasn't a deal. So yes. All right. We can go to the next one, which is highlighting key features. Staging can definitely help turn those weird negative spaces in a home into a positive. A lot of times they'll have like a weird little nook and they're like, I never knew what to do with that. And I'm like, well, let's solve that. Because the next homeowner is going to say the same thing. Yeah. This is wasted space. I don't know what to do with it. So we have to show them. How could you use it? Maybe there's room for like a little kid's homework area. Maybe this is the, reading nook that the wife has always wanted. there's something that we can do to turn that into a like, okay, cool. At least I know how I would use that space and it doesn't seem like a waste. So let's move to the next house because I don't know what I would do there. So yes, so obviously, as we said before, we want to capture your attention online. 83% say that buyers are the most important factor when choosing which homes to tour, because as you know, none of us are going to a house nowadays that we haven't already seen online.
Yeah.
It's all about your photos. And so again, staging is helping your photos be set up in the room. I always make people move their beds. I make them switch their sofa because it's all about the photography angles.
Yeah.
I'm like, this might not be how you would live, but this is how it's going to show best online.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to know what the 1% of people who aren't searching online.
Right. Yeah, I wonder, true. Like, because I would almost even think at this point, like elderly people are computer savvy at this point to look online. So yeah, that would be interesting. Maybe just like relos or something where they're just like, find me a house and here's my prereqs. But yeah, I'm sure that's probably very, very rare. All right. And the fifth one, oh, and then here's just some pictures of different ones I did. This one was in Leander.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, this was a really pretty house. This was a vacant one. This was another vacant one. Yeah, so all three of those were vacant. Yeah. And then number 5, obviously we want sellers to maximize their profits. Most sellers are going to see return on investment of over 400% from investing in staging. So when they balk at the price of staging, you just have to explain to them that I promise you're going to get that money back out of it because you're going to get higher offers or offers on par with what you're listing because you put your best foot forward. And then here again, just kind of a repeat of what they all were. I want to say there's just some more fun before and after. So
I mean, that just almost doesn't seem like the
same house.
place.
I know, right?
That's crazy, Pam.
Yeah. Big
Looks
difference.
way better.
Yeah.
Which one would you want to go see?
Right, exactly.
I mean, there's the question.
Yeah.
And I think that online component is such a part of it, you know,
Absolutely.
like we will have a thing called Feature Friday where I go through all of our listings from all of our agents and I'm the one I'm looking to post is the prettiest one.
Right. Very
That's
true.
the one I want to post.
Yeah.
So, and that you can watch as like the impressions go.
Yeah. And even this one, like, you know, there's just no emotional vibe when it's
empty,
vacant.
It's almost worse if it's empty than if it's staged poorly.
I think so to some extent as well, only because
I don't know. I'm like, what
people can't visualize how to use things. It is not something that most people, I know there are probably a lot of realtors that think, oh no, they can because they can.
Yeah.
And I walk houses with people and they're like, oh, I would have never thought of that. Or you're going to use that here for that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what this room is for. I'm like, if you looked at the floor plans, that's probably what it was called or what, you know, I'm like, so it is interesting how people can't visualize what things are going to look like. So that's why I think it's so important to create that emotional vibe, to create that space that they want to hang out in and start to see themselves, you know, having dinner here or having a glass of wine on the patio or whatnot. The more you can pull them in and connect them to the house, the better chance you've got of getting them in. So this was another one, and they were living in this one. This was an occupied stage. And so they actually had this gorgeous table in their kitchen, which was huge and oversized and didn't fit.
Yeah.
So it's like, can we get rid of, you know, Grandma Ann's table and move the beautiful herringbone one into your dining room? And I was going to bring chairs, but she was so inspired when she moved her table in there. She's like, I love this. And I'm going to go buy new chairs for myself because I know that in my next house, this is what we're going to use for our dining instead. And you can see just the difference of just some art and some lamps, adds some texture and some color and some light. Yeah. Add lighting.
So many like dark corners.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to say those were taken pretty much dead on the same part of the time of day. And this was just a room upstairs. Again, it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with the room on the left. Just again, the photography angle, you're going to stare at the back of the chair, and they had a record player right as you walked up the stairs, and the coffee table was less than appealing. So I was like, let's just do a few things, like switch the chair around and move the TV out of there if y'all aren't even upstairs watching TV at this point, because all their kids moved out. So I was like, let's just remove the big ugly box from the corner and just make it a more presentable, pretty area.
Perfect.
So yeah, there you go. So
Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, please follow. I have been horrible about posting lately. I need to get better again. I'm not a huge social media person, but yeah. I don't know if anybody has any questions. do anything from consultations, which run around $250, like I said, up to 2 hours of walking through the house, and that includes a report.
Yes, I owe
Yes.
you.
Oh, you're fine. That's fine. You're
Just like
fine.
that.
And then I do occupied, which, you know, some stagers run from. That's where I got my start.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are boundaries you have to, like, how many pets do they have? Do they have 2 little hellion kids running around, or are their
Right.
kids older and in college? Doesn't mean I can't help them. It just means I might be a little pickier with what I'm willing to bring, but then I can make suggestions to them, like I did with Robert. Like, how about if you buy a rug, since you do have a dog, and then I'll bring all the rest of the stuff, you know? So yes, and I'm trying to stay, you know, as budget friendly as I can. My minimum on occupied is around 650. I feel like most of them are running 650 to 859. The more that I have to bring in, if they need a kitchen table and chairs, or a coffee table, or a desk and a chair, you know, I have access to all those things. So just kind of the more I need to bring, the price goes up.
Yeah.
And same with vacant. I can do anything from, you know, you just need me to bring in a little bit of stuff, or you need me to full blown do the whole house.
Yes.
I have sources that rent me the large furniture so that I don't have to keep that. They stay on trend. They buy the new things. And then I have 3 giant storage units full of trees, art, lamps, bedding, pillows for days, all those things. So yeah.
Awesome.
So yes, that's my spill.
I will add that the reason I started using Julie is because I started following her. Actually, one of our agents, Kelly, was where I met Julie.
Right.
Because Kelly was going on vacation and somebody needed to meet the photographer.
Right.
And I think you were just finishing up the staging on that home.
Yes.
It sold very quickly. And then I started following Julie on her social media. Everything she staged sold quickly.
Yeah.
It was always happening, always happening. It's not something you see from other stagers. So I tell my clients, sellers all the time, it's because she has her finger on the buyer's pulse. She knows what they're going to be attracted to and what they will go ahead and react to. But something I just heard you say this time that I don't think I had heard in the past was staging to create the emotional connection with the room. Buyers buy a home for an emotional connection.
Yeah.
It's the reason I love residential and I don't enjoy commercial.
Right. Yeah.
Because I like that emotional connection.
Absolutely.
And because you stage from that perspective of creating the emotional connection,
right,
that's probably what makes you stand out.
I know. I laugh. I have a psychology degree from UT, which I never used, but I'm like, I think I do use it.
You do.
I do, because I do think there is a lot of psychology behind it, and I try to explain that to people and things where I'm like, you know, they'll have a room of A&M paraphernalia, and I'm like, look,
it's great,
go Aggies. I'm a Longhorn, so I'm not probably allowed to say that. But we don't want to eliminate Ohio State fans or UT fans or Nebraska fans, because you never know what someone's going to be caught up on.
Yeah.
So let's just remove
all of it,
so that we don't have any issue with, I don't like that, or they're going to remember it as like, that's the Aggie house.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's just, you know, just take it out.
It's the gorgeous.
Depersonalize it, neutralize it. And that it can be really tricky to explain to home owners.
I just believe it, because people don't want to be told that they don't have good style, or
well, they do have good style.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what they hear. You tell them take down your Aggie stuff and suddenly I'm not a good designer.
Right.
It's like, that's not what it's about.
Yes. Or my grandmother painted this. And I'm like, no, no shade to grandma. Yeah. Pack it up.
Pack it up. You're moving anyway.
Yes.
And let's put something here that buyers are going to be able to see their stuff.
Right. Yeah. You have an emotional connection to that, but nobody else does. So yes. So yeah. Any other questions? No?
Nope. I just wanted to give you my shout out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to mute myself.